Welcome to the stage, Rebecca Hawkins of Regenerative Workplaces.
Thank you so much. What an awesome crowd. I'm so glad to be here. So let me make sure this is working. Ta-da. I'm Rebecca Hawkins. I'm the founder of Regenerative Workplaces. I'm an executive coach and an organizational effectiveness consultant. The mission of my organization is trickle-down humanity, and my core values are grace, connection, and truth. And that's not what I'm here to talk about today so much as, why the heck am I an entrepreneur? Why are any of us an entrepreneur? Why do we do this? And how do we navigate the waves as they come at us? So I'm going to start with just a little bit of my background. As I said, I'm the founder of this organization, but the most important thing that you need to know about me is that I'm an imperfect human, just like you. Right? I have about 30 years of business experience. I break that into 3 different chapters, some 10 years in startup, 10 years in customer service, 10 years in a Fortune 100, doing employee experience. I have several certifications and a master's degree. However, that's not why I am doing this. Really, what makes my business relevant to me and to the world, and what makes my story relevant to me and to the world, is this, that during the time I was doing all these things in business, I also experienced almost 10 years of infertility and a miscarriage. I had a difficult adoption and 2 kids that still are troubled in their 20s. I've had 2 divorces, a bankruptcy. I've lived life. I've experienced pain and trauma. And so I've learned throughout my career that life is messy, and so are humans. And work and the world is made up of humans. So I started recognizing the importance for myself of embracing my own story, embracing my trauma, and all of it makes up who I am. And it's so important that I am able to bring my full self to everything I do. And it's so important that we all get to do that. So one of my aha moments when I started the journey towards entrepreneurship was back when I was working in corporate still. And I listened to a leadership conference where Andy Stanley spoke, and he said this thing, that bold leadership is clarity around an unreasonable commitment to what should be. And what I knew at that point in my career was that employees should love coming to work every day. Employees should be treated with humanity. And I was working in a contact center at the time, and any of you have ever had any contact center experience, not very humanizing. I had 7 years in the contact center on the front lines, and then about 4.5 years as a leader in the contact center. And when I became a leader, it was my ultimate commitment to make sure my employees loved coming to work every day. So from there, I worked up my way in Fortune 100 companies into that employee experience type of environment. And then my job was eliminated by the organization, so I got the opportunity from the universe to start Regenerative Workplaces. And I won't talk a lot about this specifically, but my model is to help organizations move from being depletive to being regenerative by looking at their mindsets, their systems, and their measurements. So that was great. I spoke about this a year ago, so I'm not going to speak about it again right now, but during the first year of doing this, I had 4 clients. I didn't make a profit, but I did make money. It's the general first year of business, but I was really building up some momentum. I was on a growth trajectory. I'd had 9 podcast experiences and several speaking events, and then the floor dropped out from underneath me. And in December of last year, my mom very suddenly passed away. And so the question came, how do you run a business when everything depends on you and you have nothing left to give? And I had to really sit with that and step back and allow myself, again, the opportunity to heal from yet another trauma. So I took several months this year to get still, to get quiet, to shut out all the noise on social media and networking events, even like this, and to get really close and connected to my voice again. And who am I? And what matters to me? And why do I really want to do this? And I even during that time out of desperation applied for a job, and because I really need a paycheck. And when I got declined for that job, I interviewed and got declined for it. In my body, I felt more relief than disappointment. And I knew in that moment, this is what I was made for. This is what I was called to do. So this is kind of one of my favorite images about life. We think it's a straight journey. Not exactly. And this has been my journey in my business. I'm relaunching now. Basically, that's why I'm here today, a year in, starting over, refreshed, recommitted, refocused. I'm really clear about my why, because I think our why as entrepreneurs is that we have no choice. We do this because something inside of us knows we have to. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the book, The Artist's Journey by Stephen Pressfield, but he talks about the artist's journey, and that's what we are. We are creators. We are bringing something unique and special into the world that nobody else in this world can bring. And with that comes resistance. That is part of the journey of an entrepreneur. It is part of the journey of a creator. But we come up against what he calls the God of necessity, that it is a need for us to do this. And I love what I get to do when I get to work with clients. But I'm here right now with no clients yet, restarting, really living off a savings account that's dwindling and a 0% interest credit card. Anybody been there in your business before? Right? But what I do have, I have myself. I have my unique differentiator, what makes me different from everybody else in the world. I have clarity of purpose. I know that I'm living my calling, and I know that I have no other choice. I have an amazing network of support and friends and colleagues who I've built up over the last year and a half. And I have something that the world needs. I give organizations the permission and the tools to embrace their story and to be their full authentic self, because it's what we all long for. We're stuck in this hiding and self-protection, and yet we long for humanity and connection. And what I do is help people step into that place and help organizations create spaces where humans can be their full authentic self. Thank you.